What the f did I just watch? It's day 9 of 31 Days of Horror, and we are watching the movie Pinocchio 964, and I am very confused. This movie is labeled as a cyberpunk horror movie, but it's more so a psychological drama than anything. So the gist of the story to this movie is a girl who lives in the slums finds this strange man on the street and decides to take care of him. He acts super odd and doesn't really talk at all, except for making weird noises. We later find out that he's actually a sex robot, and his owner got annoyed of him, so she threw him out on the streets. She is actually the client to a company that sells these robots, and they tell her that she made a huge mistake because apparently society and people in the public are not supposed to know about these robots. So they send out some of their men to look for Pinocchio. This movie is very experimental and visual, and there's not much of a deep story going on. It's more of a mindfuck while you piece together what exactly you are watching in the first place. Like, there's a scene where Himiko like throws up a bunch of oatmeal looking sand stuff for like a few minutes. It's super random and gross, and you're just left wondering what is going on. This movie also has a lot of scenes where no one's really talking. The two main characters don't really talk much either. Pinocchio is the one that makes a bunch of weird noises, and he moves erratically, and it's just a lot of just odd visuals. There's also a scene with Pinocchio after an altercation where he's literally running for like 6 minutes straight. It's just weird. This movie is seriously bonkers, and for an hour and 30 minutes, you're left scratching your head wondering what the hell you're actually watching. Well, at first I thought we might get a rhyme or reason why Pinocchio is acting like this, and maybe he works with Himiko to unlock his past and figure out who he really is, and maybe it leads him down a path of vengeance against the company that wronged him. And while maybe that last part is kind of true, none of it is done in an interesting or compelling way. Like, decisions by Himiko throughout the film make little to no sense. Pinocchio as a character is very one-dimensional, and he doesn't really change throughout the film other than his outward appearance. Also, if they didn't tell you that Pinocchio was a robot in the beginning, you would have never have guessed. The movie is also super campy and over the top, but not in a good way. The filmmaking is also pretty bad. You can tell that they had a small crew, and it feels like they rushed a lot of these shots. There aren't any good kills in this movie either, and the only one that we really get is at the very end, which is just super silly. We get Pinocchio rushing a dude, punching him through the chest, and then a bunch of cherries fall out of him instead of blood. I don't know. And the whole ending makes absolutely no sense, and I was like, what am I watching? Don't get me wrong, I am perfectly fine with experimental films that have wacky and crazy premises, but you have to at least tell some coherent story to make it all make sense. Like, this wasn't even fun to watch, which is just disappointing. It was just a bad movie. On a scary meter, this gets a 0 out of 10. On a blood meter, this gets like maybe a 1 out of 10. And this is why I give Pinocchio 964 a 2 out of 10. If you guys like this review, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more, hit that follow button, and as always, thanks for watching.